I'm forcing myself to sit in silence for a month because I've been feeling super distracted and dysfunctional. For the month of May, I will not be allowed to listen to music, podcasts, or YouTube videos. I've been unable to sit in silence and do things in silence when I'm washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, or even going to the bathroom. I feel this need to have something on in the background, whether it's music or a video playing. I've been setting myself a goal every month this year, but I haven't been 100% consistent any of the months, and I want this to be the month in which I see through this goal to the end, from day 1 to day 31. So let's begin. Wow, it's been 2 weeks. I am keeping my word to see this challenge through. I have not given in yet, and it's been 2 weeks. These past 2 weeks have been not terrible. It was challenging in the beginning to settle into the silence and not to be listening to something while I was eating dinner, but I gradually got used to it. The beginning of this month was also super busy, so it was easy to not give in to those distractions. I think keeping busy really helps me stick to this challenge. One thing I've noticed is that my emotions are more stable. I used to experience very deep negative emotions, but I would say that for the past 2 weeks, I've been generally on the positive end. Not elated, not ecstatic, but a very stable, neutral, or positive emotional state. I can't believe this is how people lived back in the days before technology. I feel like people nowadays are more frustrated or more irritable. I think that I was definitely more irritable. I am less forgetful when it comes to doing things, mostly because I do them right away instead of waiting until later. Previously, when I got home, I would toss my bag on a chair and unpack everything I needed to unpack later on, which really annoyed other people in the house because I tend to leave my things everywhere. But now I do them right away. I'm better at picking my clothes off the floor and leaving them off the floor, hanging them up immediately, or folding them immediately. Overall, there are many positive things I've seen from the past 2 weeks, and I can't understand how I was living the way I was living before this. Going back to being more irritable, I used to get so annoyed and upset when someone interrupted me when I was listening to a YouTube video or a podcast. I would get so annoyed when someone asked me to do something while I was in the middle of listening to it. But now, since I'm not listening to anything, I'm more willing to help that person out. I really want to keep this a habit after this month. So what I'm thinking of for the future is that I would give myself 1 day a week to listen to music, podcasts, and YouTube videos, but I will fast from all of these things the rest of the week. There are 2 more weeks, so we'll see how the remaining 2 weeks go. Second 2 weeks update. The last 2 weeks also went pretty well overall. I think there were 2 days in which I would consider them cheat days, but I didn't exactly break any of my original rules. So technically I did see this challenge through to the end. The last few days were rough because my semester had ended. I was finished with all of my finals and I didn't have a lot on my plate. I had some extra free time and I really wanted to spend it just catching up on my favorite podcasts, watch the videos that I had saved by browsing on YouTube. So instead, what I did was spending some time scrolling on Instagram and shopping on Temu. That hasn't changed. Honestly, it's hard to remember what has happened, even though it's only been 2 weeks. But one of my main highlights for the last 2 weeks was my trip to Boston. It was just a good time, good bonding experience, a memorable experience with my family. Now let's talk about my overall thoughts on this month. I think I shared this a little bit before about just say it again. I've noticed that my mood has been super stable. I used to experience a lot of highs and lows. I could wake up feeling super happy, super elated, and by lunchtime I could be super down. Sometimes it's because I've been spending too much time on Instagram, but sometimes it just seems like it's out of nowhere. But because I have not been feeding myself with lots of information from different sources, I think that has helped me maintain a very stable mood, and a positive mood at that. I think I've also touched on this, but I have more patience with people. I am more willing to help others out because I'm not interrupted by whatever I'm listening to. I also take a little bit more initiative to help others out, as well as being better at following up with people when they had previously reached out to me for help. So that's a very good thing, because patience is something that I really wanted to work on. I'm not the most patient person. I also noticed that I no longer have the itch to grab my headphones first thing in the morning. I like to take a walk or go for a run the first thing in the morning, and previously I would really want to just jam those earphones in and blast music. But a few days ago, as I was going on my morning walk, I realized that I no longer had that urge. I think it's a good thing. It kind of feels like I overcame an addiction, sort of, and I'm not exactly sure the overall benefits of this, but I'm sure there are many benefits that I have not become aware of. In terms of stress levels, I would say that I'm still kind of stressed. I feel this tightness in my stomach. I feel this urgency to get things done as soon as possible. But I think that if I keep this up, if I continue this, then I would be less stressed overall. Moving forward, I will give myself one day a week to listen to music, podcasts, and YouTube videos, but I'm going to fast run all of those things the rest of the week. The day that I will give myself, or at least I'm planning to, is on Fridays. I will let loose, go wild, but other than that, I will continue to sit in silence.